What's up, it's Tony back with another episode of the It's Tony podcast. And today's video, I'm going to be talking about an article that is stirring up a lot of feelings on Twitter and all over social media. This article was an article made by Complex, and the title of the article is called The 2024 MTV VMAs Highlighted Rap's Midlife Crisis. Use LL Cool J as a picture. And people that read the headline, the title of the article, and saw LL Cool J's picture, they feel like the article is disrespecting LL Cool J. And I believe that Complex put out the article like this for a reason. I think that they did it for rage baiting. And before I break down the article and whether I feel like they're right about what they're saying or if they're wrong about what they're saying, I want to speak about rage baiting because that's what I believe the title and the picture for the article is doing. It's rage baiting. Do you think that rage baiting works? I'm going to say that it's a yes and a no. I'm going to say yes, rage baiting works because it causes a whole bunch of commotion and feelings. I'm going to say yes because it gets people to talk about your article, to just speak about the title alone and the picture of the article. Also, it works because it's based on how social media works. Outrage equals virality. If you could get a whole bunch of people mad, it's going to go viral. It's going to get enough people to talk about it where it looks like everybody is talking about it and it's going to eventually trend. So it can work. Now, I'm also saying that rage baiting also doesn't work because although it gets a whole bunch of people to talk about your article and talk about the headline and the picture of your article, it doesn't get those people to then click on the article and see what you're actually saying. Because if rage baiting actually got people to read the article, I don't think people will be as upset with this article as they are. Because the article, when you actually read it, I kind of think what they're saying is true. Maybe Complex doesn't really care about people reading the article. They may only care about people talking about the article's title and picture because they chose the title and picture for a reason. There's no way for me to know for certain, but I don't believe that the people that read the title and saw the picture and felt some type of way about that, there's no way that I can believe that they went and read the article. Because like I said, if you read the article, it's not that bad. And you will see that the article is not really coming at LL Cool J or saying that LL Cool J is in a midlife crisis. That leads to my next question. Was the article wrong for using LL Cool J? Again, I believe that there's two sides to this answer. I believe no, they weren't wrong for using LL Cool J because when you actually read the article, you will see that LL Cool J's picture was chosen for a reason and it actually supports what the article is speaking about. Also, I would say that they weren't wrong for using LL Cool J's picture because the use of him as the picture is actually shouting him out. Once you read the article, you will see that it's shouting him out. It's bigging him up. Now, on the other side, I say that the article is wrong for using LL Cool J as the picture because it makes it look like Complex is saying that LL Cool J is having a midlife crisis. And especially with LL Cool J recently putting out a new project, it looks like his project is a result of him having a midlife crisis. So I can see how his fans and the people that love LL Cool J and the legend that he is would be upset by that because it looks like the article is disrespecting LL Cool J. But once you read it, again, it's not disrespecting LL Cool J at all. Now to delve into the article. The article's title is actually a great title because the title is literally what the whole article is about. Question that the article is trying to ask is, based on what was shown in the VMAs, who is the next big transcendent star in hip hop? As for the midlife crisis part, let's break down what midlife crisis is. I've picked two definitions to explain what midlife crisis means. One definition says, a midlife crisis is a period of transition in life where someone struggles with their identity and self-confidence. Someone that the definition that I just read is referring to is rap and hip hop. The next definition says a midlife crisis, simply put, is a period of emotional turmoil, middle age, 40 to 60, for a desire for change. This crisis is a period of long-scale change where a person experiences a lot of confusion and uncertainty about their life purpose. Now, with that definition, use it as it's being referred to hip-hop. And based off those definitions, I believe that hip-hop is having a midlife crisis. Hip-hop recently celebrated its 50-year anniversary, which means that it's in the age range of a person who would be in a midlife crisis. So let's check that part off. Also, hip-hop/rap has been for a few years now, has been struggling with its identity between the older generation and the newer generation. It has two sides of people basically pulling it in both ways. One side is saying that it doesn't want to be like the past, it wants to be different. And then the other side is saying that it doesn't want to be like the present, it wants to be different as well. So the identity is up in the air because it has two sides of people questioning what hip-hop is to them. Currently, it doesn't have an identity. It doesn't have a solid identity, which also shows that it is having a midlife crisis. Now, as for the question that this article is asking, the question that the article is asking is, who's next? Based off what the writer saw in the VMAs and the depiction of hip-hop currently, the person is asking, who is next? Who is this next big star, this big transcendent star in hip-hop? The writer of the article states that while it was watching the VMAs, it felt like anyone looking to scout the new group of hip-hop superstars were very much out of luck. Basically saying that the VMAs didn't show a new crop of hip-hop superstars. Then it also says, there don't seem like many obvious choices to fill in the gaps following the ascents of Drake, Future, Young Thug, Travis, and more. And this is all facts. You can also tell that this is facts because when you go and look at people's album sales, all of the new acts, you don't see none of the new hip hop rappers selling a lot of records when their albums come out. But the people that you do see selling a lot of records are the Drakes, the Futures, and all of the people that have been in hip hop for a long time. You see the same people that the article named, the same people that I've been speaking about, just the big names in hip hop. You only see them selling a lot. But all of the new, supposedly popping artists in hip hop, they are not selling a lot. So is the article wrong by what it's saying? No. It isn't certain who the next crop of hip hop artists are that will be able to take over for those big names that were mentioned. Then the article also highlighted that I couldn't help to notice how vibrant and young pop and international acts were juxtaposed to the rappers on the bill. The writer continues to explain that you've seen a lot of young pop artists at the VMAs. You've seen a lot of young international artists on the stage compared to the hip hop artists that were on the stage. They were either on the stage next to artists from other genres or they were elder statesmen in hip hop. The last quote I want to read from this article summarizes everything the article is speaking about and why I agree with the article. The article said, it also speaks to the weak bench in hip hop right now and how young rappers are struggling to make transcendent songs. The 30-year-olds are still dominating and the horizon is unclear. And that is true. This article, although it used rage baiting with the title and with the picture that it chose, the article is not wrong. And there's evidence to prove the article right. And it also goes back to the video that I posted yesterday of hip hop needing a new cleansing. And I've been speaking about this for a while. The younger artists in hip hop right now, although they may seem like they're popping and they may seem like they are big stars, they aren't making any big songs. And none of the new acts are clearly taking the baton from the old acts. The 30-year-olds and up, they are the ones that are still running hip-hop. The Drakes, the Futures, the Travis Scotts, the big names and the big stars in hip-hop are not the younger artists. And there hasn't been any young artist that has been able to take the baton. So hip-hop is having a midlife crisis. It hasn't been able to transition from the elder statesman to the newer statesman. And based on the performances by hip-hop artists in the VMAs, you can see that there's clearly a problem. And the question is needed to be asked. But don't get me wrong, MTV did show some rappers. But every time they showed the hip-hop artist performing, either the timing was wrong or they were next to an artist from another genre, or it was an elder statesman of hip-hop. So Meg did good. Her performance was good. Glorilla, she performed and her performance was good as well. But she performed 3 hours and 30 minutes into the show. Not a lot of people saw her. Then another performer was Eminem. He is an elder statesman of hip hop, which supports the midlife crisis that hip hop is having. Another person, LL Cool J, he performed, and the performance was good, but it also feeds into the midlife crisis narrative. Then you had Quavo. He performed next to Lenny Kravitz, an artist that is not a part of the hip hop genre. Then Doechii performed, a great up-and-coming hip-hop artist, but she performed next to Katy Perry, another artist outside of the hip-hop genre. So based on the performances by hip-hop artists, you can see how either the timing was wrong, you can see how they were next to an artist outside of hip-hop, or they were an elder statesman in hip-hop, which supports the midlife crisis narrative. The whole article is basically asking who is next in hip-hop. Who is the next big three? Who is the next big star? Because it doesn't seem like there is a lot of big stars coming in hip-hop right now. It looks like the same people will be running hip-hop for a long time. You may have a Meg Thee Stallion who is a bigger star in hip-hop. But even Meg, she didn't sell a whole bunch of album copies. She did better than The Field, but she didn't sell a whole bunch. The only people that are cracking 100 and up in hip-hop are the big stars who have been here for years and years on years. None of the young talent are getting close to that. Forget the rage baiting. Forget all of that. The article, when you read it, it has evidence to support what it's talking about. I know some people are upset, but I'm not upset. You should be upset at the newer artists. You should be questioning why they aren't making any transcendent music. Clearly, they aren't doing enough work to make you consider them a new big star because you would be buying their albums. And I have been speaking about this for a while, so this article supports what I've been talking about. And I think people need to just start to read. The only thing with the titles of articles now is that the title is usually rage baiting, which leads people not to read. But nigga, just read. Even if you don't like something, you should read. The article has to get your attention. So it's going to do something to get your attention. And rage baiting is what's in. Speaking of rage baiting, I might even rage bait this title just to see if you motherfuckers would click on and listen. You have to find a way to get you to like, comment, and subscribe and tell a friend and tell a friend. Thank you for watching. It's Tony from the It's Tony podcast, and I'll see y'all next time with another video.